Force yourself to finish what it is that you start. So when I first started playing ball, I was all about the grind. I was all about working hard. I was all about getting to it. And I am the same way to this day. And, it was really easy for me to go out there and grind and put the work in because what I really loved. What was hard for me was when I was in school. I did not like going to class. I didn't like doing my work necessarily. I liked getting good grades, but I didn't really love the process like I did with football. And so there were times in school where I would do the work, but maybe I would only do like 80% of the assignment. Or I would hit all the wickets on a rubric, but I wouldn't go all the way to make sure that I did it in an outstanding manner. Maybe just good enough to get a good grade, take my take my grade and going on. But an important thing to learn and to do is to finish what it is you start. And it's not going halfway, and it's not just doing just enough, because you'll realize very fast that just enough is never enough. Like, you got to see things through to completion. You got to see things through all the way. I'll tell you a story about when I was playing football, and I was working on my feet. There's a time when I couldn't really juke, so I had to get my feet right. And I got to a point where I could juke very well. But I remember it was a certain ladder drill I could not master. My boy KJ was trying to teach me. Shout out my boy KJ with Pro Form Human Elite Performance, man. Y'all have to go check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff that he's working on. But he was trying to teach me this ladder drill. It was way back in the day. I could not figure it out. And it felt so fundamental that I was like, I felt embarrassed that I couldn't do it. Because I was like, how could I not do a ladder drill? Like, I'm out here playing, rush for over 100 yards a game, juke, cooking people, but I can't do this ladder drill? And that right there was the shame. And what I want you to do is, when you notice that you're feeling shame because maybe something you're doing feels too elementary, too fundamental, too basic, that you should be past it, first off, you got to kill that thought right there. Like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, man. That is the worst. Don't ever consider no shoulda, coulda, woulda statement. That is no. That is just done. Be done with that thought in your mind forever. Because you could have did this, you could have did that. You should have did this, you should have did that. You would have did this, you would have did that. But what did you actually do? It's a saying that Nick Saban say. He say something like, no one cares how you feel, all they see is what you've done. And it's the same thing with shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, yeah, you coulda, shoulda, woulda did all this stuff, but what did you actually do? That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. But back to my point, when that thought arises, you've got to kill that, because what that's doing is making you feel like maybe it's not even worth the effort. Maybe I shouldn't even try. But what you don't understand is that's the small building block that's going to get you to where you're trying to get to at the end. I share that story about me on the ladder drill because at first I couldn't get that drill, and I became, I was like, you know what, I don't even care about my feet. I'm gonna just get big and strong and run through everybody. And I tried that for a while, and I had to try that and fail for a little bit before I was able to humble myself and go through the process. See, a lot of people think being humble is like demeaning yourself, or degrading yourself, I should say, and putting yourself down, but that's not humility. Humility is being big enough, man enough, woman enough, grown enough to say, maybe I need to try something else. Maybe I need to try something new. Maybe I don't already have it all figured out. It's being open and not afraid to implement something new, because at the end of the day, this is just a process. This is just a game. This is just a practice. This is an experience, and it's not a definition of who I am in totality, right? So when you have those thoughts of things that want to make you quit or stop short of the finish line, you have to kill it. And honestly, it's not even better. It's not even that you stopping short is not even better than you finishing all the way of a bad product. What am I saying with that? You going the whole way. Let's say you trying to build a table, right? And you build a table. You get these legs that aren't even, so the table is slanted. You get a cover. You didn't smooth it out so it's all chipped. You can't even put nothing on it without getting a splinter. And then it's just not even at a normal height. Like it's too short, it's crooked, and you get a splinter when you use it. But you built it to completion. You'll learn more from that table than if you quit because you couldn't find a saw to get the legs all even, or you couldn't find a sander to make it all smooth, and you just stopped there. Because you stopped at the sander, now you don't even know what it takes to get the legs even. You don't even know the proper measurements of what is a proper table for when I'm sitting down at a chair. Now you can't even build a table. And I know I pulled that example out of, nowhere, but it really helps illustrate the importance of finishing what you start. Because you make that terrible table, what do you know for the next table? Okay, I need this type of wood, this length of wood, so that I can cut it into this 4 so I can make sure they're all even. I need to get this sander. Oh, once I sand it, I need to get the little glaze so I can make it smooth and shiny. You know all these things. For example, when I was playing ball, learning to catch was something I had to really focus on. Catching was not a natural thing for me, It's something I had to put a lot of work in. I developed it over the years. I got a lot better at it over the years, but it's something that I had to intentionally put a lot of effort in. And you start learning things when you start implementing these things, like this little drill I would do. I'll toss the ball off the wall, catch it with my hands. I toss it off the wall, catch it with my hands. I wouldn't look when I tossed it. I toss it off the wall, look, catch it with it. And I just went 3 fingers. I implemented 3 fingers. And what I learned was sometimes it's easier to just let it fall in your hands. Sometimes you want to pinch it. Sometimes you want to grab it. Depending on how far out it was, how close it was, where your body was positioned, I learned where I should flip my hands based on where the ball was. These are things I had to learn through repetition, through trying over and over and over again, by starting the act of practicing and finishing the act of seeing it all the way in. It's a football. You get thrown a football, you catch it, you have to finish and see it all the way in until you've tucked it. There's many times where that was one of the biggest things, eye discipline. My eyes would turn away. I wouldn't finish catching the ball. I'm already looking upfield. What do? Drop. Every time. Drop. But when I stay there, I see it, I finish the catch and tuck it in, I had possession of the ball. See, the game of football, you want to score touchdowns. Okay, I got to go score. I got to get the ball. I got to get to the end zone. Okay, but how can you score if you haven't completed this task yet? And I think a big problem that most people had, I know for myself definitely, that every time I stopped short is because I had no respect for the process of accomplishing what I was trying to accomplish, and I had no belief that I could even learn the process itself. And that's why I was talking about humility a second earlier, because once you believe that you have it all figured out, you've already cut yourself off from creativity, you've cut yourself off from growth, you've cut yourself off from every opportunity that could come through learning. Every time you decide not to finish something or to stop halfway, you've already killed every chance of you getting better. You've killed every chance of you learning how to be better and efficient at what you're doing. You've killed every opportunity to even learn why what you're doing isn't working in the first place. Every time you don't finish what you start, you're also teaching yourself that it is okay to do things halfway. It's okay to be a halfway player, a halfway teammate, a halfway brother, a halfway friend. It's okay to be a halfway person to yourself. What does that even mean? When you do things in neuroscience, they have shown, there are studies that tell you that the actions you do reinforce the beliefs you hold about yourself. And the beliefs you hold about yourself reinforce the actions you take. So it's really a cycle that both feed each other. It's like one's spinning this way, the other's spinning this way, but like they're overlapping in the middle, like a Venn diagram. So if you can follow along and visualize this. But I saw a video about a guy explaining Botox and how people who get Botox, it does something to the muscles in their face. So when they smile, they can't smile all the way. But what the thing is that when you smile, you get a dopamine rush from your brain because the nerves in your face are telling your brain that you're happy. So it releases more dopamine to make sure you stay in that happy state. And the same thing is true with frowning. When you frown, your nervous system is telling your brain that you're upset. I might be butchering that. I watched the video, I read the article, but I don't I don't know the science to the T, so I might be mixing up the words. But ultimately, you smiling makes you just as happy as if you were happy and started smiling. So what I'm saying is that what I'm trying to explain is that they're both feeding each other. So basically, when you show that you can do things halfway, you're starting to program that into your body that I can do things halfway. I am a halfway person. I'm not a person who sees things to completion. And that's something that you have to kill immediately. In the Bible, it's James chapter 1, verse 12. It's I'm missing the verse, but in that verse, it talks about finishing what you start. And that's a big principle that I think that once you start implementing will change the way you approach whatever it is. If you're a basketball player, if you're just a person who's starting a business, you work in business, if you're just going through school and you're trying to get better grades, if you're just whatever it is that you're doing, you're playing sports, you make music, you're a writer, you sew, you paint, if you buy and sell cars, you wax floors, whatever it is, implementing this will change the way you perform. It'll change the way you view yourself. It'll change the outcomes and results that you are looking for. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share with someone who needs it. And if you know more about that neuroscience that I was talking about, please talk about it in the comments, or not. If you remember what James 1:12 say, comment it down below. That's a shame on me for not remembering. I'll remember next time, but comment that down below and just comment whatever it is you want to share with me. Let's make this a discussion.